One end of the ground now has great empty spaces, just litter on the terraces. People have moved away. The police still wait on guard on horseback and with their riot shields at the ready. These are Juventus supporters we are looking at the right end of the ground, and that gives an indication of the problem, because the division there was precisely the same division which at the other end of the ground allowed supporters of Liverpool to move into an area previously occupied by supporters of Juventus. I mean, it is no area of any sort, and it is surprising, to say the least, that with the record of problems caused by supporters coming from the United Kingdom, if not supporters from Liverpool, whose record up to now has been pretty well exemplary, it is surprising that there were no police on hand to make sure that the difficulties which occurred were not cut off right at the outset. But here are Italian supporters armed with pieces of wood, and gentleman on the right, if such I could call him, a stave. There is, as I said, a calm, but there is fear in that calm. Are we seeing the end of the problem? Debris all over the running track. Some just prepared to sit it out. Some with scarves around their faces as would-be bandits. Joe Fagan we saw go down the left of the main stand. I don't know whether he's gone again to appeal to supporters. But still, Jimmy, like you, we wait, and we wait with feelings of great sadness.
There's still no word on the situation at the Heysel Stadium in Brussels. We've received word unofficially that the Belgian police are hoping to move in even more units, and when those units actually arrive at the stadium and are able to restore some sense of calm to the situation, that then the two teams will come onto the field and we can get the game underway. But at the present time, there's been no official announcement via UEFA, and there are many UEFA officials at the game tonight. I'm sure they're obviously very concerned. Obviously things would happen if the game was to be cancelled, with regards to the number of police in the stadium and their inability to control the situation early on. So we're all hoping here that they will be able to get extra reinforcements into the stadium, and when those reinforcements arrive and the fans are back into the stands and on the terraces, that the two teams can come onto the field and the game can get underway. But at the moment, you can see here members of the media, I'm sure, at a loss for words, really. It looked there like Michel Hidalgo, the fine coach of the French national team that won the European Nations Cup, talking to reporters. On the right-hand side of your screen there, I'm sure people of that nature, you know, that they came here to see a great game, and instead they see out-and-out warfare and quite remarkable scenes at a soccer game. But Mike, as we've seen so many times before, not unusual, and certainly in the United Kingdom and especially in Britain, of course, in recent months.
That's right, Dick, and the tragedy of this all is that there are 28 people there that have come to watch a football match, have lost their lives, and what can one say but commiserate with all the relatives and what have you. But this is totally unbelievable. In all my years of playing soccer and watching soccer, I've never ever seen anything like scenes like this, and it's just unbelievable. There we're seeing the mounted branch of
take place in spite of all the scenes that have preceded it. Still spectators wait. We've had one or two small fires from flags that were burned. Juventus so often seem to have their supporters in the shirts of their team, known as the Zebras, and that's the scene at the other end with the Liverpool supporters. And I think amongst that number there to the right, certainly there are true supporters who came to watch the game of football. They wait in the stands, where we've had the former manager of the French national team, Michel Ilago. It's been up in the stand. Everybody's opinion has been asked as to why it happened and what could be done about it. And David Lacey of The Guardian at the top of the picture there, one of the many journalists giving their story to London. David Miller of The Times in the centre of the picture. And journalists, Jeff Powell of the Daily Mail with a rather fuzzy hair. Journalists who, like the rest of us, have written and said many words on the problem of what has become known as football hooliganism, but which might more accurately be said to be hooliganism at football matches. And now they've got to find words again, as you in the studio and those of us looking down on this unhappy scene have been trying to do. Bear in mind that really it's over an hour that we've been looking at scenes like this, well over an hour. Still the police wait. If the paratroopers have been brought in, they're rightly conspicuous, although I suspect that gentleman with a berry might have something to do with that, but I'm only judging from the style of his headgear that they may well be outside the ground to try and prevent any further trouble, but that surely people who have watched what has happened here this evening, surely they cannot feel that they want to cause more concern. Some of the banners from Liverpool supporters, one doesn't mind the amusing banners against their great rivals Manchester United. One there that said Munich, which is a very different attitude to life. Of course, recalling the Manchester air crash that happened in Munich. How can you understand the mentality of somebody who wants to carry around a flag like that? And there have been other, not as bad flags, but words which do nothing to suggest they're real supporters, or indeed that they are part of the Liverpool scene. Members of the Juventus official party who were down there, we were just looking at helicopters flying overhead, and it really resembles the scene at a battleground, which sadly it has been. Battle caused by a minority, which has led to, we still have a report of 28 deaths in a stadium that's all the dignitaries from UEFA and the two clubs are out of sight, away from the position where they had expected to be taking their seats to watch the match. And great discussions must be going on there. Remembering that the Liverpool chairman, Mr. John Smith, is now the new chairman of the Sports Council, so has a position of great authority, and is a man of great authority. And we are now finding the ground is being slowly but surely encircled by riot police. And the latest information is that the match will go ahead, but they are waiting until the proper number of police are in the ground to assure that it can take place without further problem. And I understand that there is now an emergency number for people to ring at home who may fear that they have somebody who might have been involved in injuries, and that number we will give you as soon as we possibly can. Still the police take their place. Those on horseback.
Brussels police force, and as you quite rightly said there, Dick, it seems that in order to restore calm they obviously need reinforcements, and I understand that from the information that we have is that there's paratroopers on their way, special task forces are on their way, and you know, what is soccer coming to?
Yeah. Here's a good point, because you were a policeman,
yeah,
and you went to games at Villa Park and I believe all the Midlands clubs. Did you ever face this kind of situation when you were on duty at the games?
Well, we're just talking about 20 years ago, Dick, and we used to control crowds of 60,000 at Villa Park, and if we had 8 policemen marching around the perimeter of the field, that was as much as we would have. Obviously there were policemen involved with traffic control. You'd get the odd occasion where you would have an incident, and that's all. There was none of this organised situations as we've seen here today, and as we've seen in the past 2 or 3 years. And I think the key of the whole thing is it's the punishment that's been handed out. I really feel that that's a deterrent to anybody. Where we've seen people commit crimes in soccer games. They've been proven to have done things. They've gone and assaulted people, and they've been fined in many cases £100, which £100 today. Most of the people involved were on unemployment. They go to pick up their unemployment check. They get a check for £200 and they pay their fine with the unemployment check. So really, it's really the government that's at fault as far as I'm concerned, and they really have to do something. It's always the case, someone has to lose their lives before something is done. And here we have a terrible situation. It's certainly made Britain look, from what we can gather from all the information that we've received today, that it certainly blackened the British soccer scene, and to be quite honest with you, I'm totally disgusted at what's happened here.
Yeah, well, one of the things that concerns me, Liverpool fans traditionally have a marvellous reputation for travelling onto the continent, and very few real incidents. There have been fans from other clubs that have gone to European Cup games and caused all manner of problems, but Liverpool Football Club, as the commentator mentioned, has always been associated with marvellous support, and when you get a player such as Phil Neal referring to that in an interview with Bob Wilson the other day, and this happens, it's quite amazing. I'm from the Liverpool area, and I have seen both Liverpool and Everton for many years, and there's a friendly rivalry between the two fans that has been evidenced many times in recent years, and this amazes me that this would happen. I never for the life of me thought that we'd see scenes like this today. Maybe if there were other clubs involved, I would have sort of been a little bit leery, but Liverpool Football Club, marvellous club, great tradition, great support, fans that, you know, wore the red with pride, and to see this happening really amazes me, because I never even entertained the idea before the game that this would actually happen.
Well, I think yeah, it's quite true, Dick, and obviously the security forces in Belgium thought the same way as you did, because they were totally unprepared for this situation that we have right here. It would be very interesting to see. Obviously there will be an investigation.
The news from the stadium is that UEFA have decided that the match will take place. They've not told us yet when they anticipate the kick-off will be, but they have decided the match will take place, and I understand that the greatest factor in their decision was the crowd and the reaction that the crowd might take if the match was abandoned. They felt that it was much the best thing that the European Cup final